of heterocyclic small molecule. I joined in, as Amanat has mentioned, I joined in 2018 in NIT Calicut as the assistant professor. First 2 years I struggled to establish my lab. However, I established two laboratories. One is a heterocyclic chemistry laboratory where my students will be preparing the heterocyclic molecules. We don't do a very big chemical reactions. We make the molecule very simple molecule, a easy molecule, and we wanted to test their the efficacies. And we are mainly focusing on antibacterial agent, whether probably some of you are working in the antibacterial agent or testing those compounds. So we are also testing on their antibacterial agent. In the morning, Ramacharya sir has mentioned why we need a new antibacterial agent. Why we need? Because a bacterial resistance. He has explained very nicely with the penicillin. The penicillin resistance is now has been nowadays nobody has using the penicillin. The second generated penicillin modified derivatives amoxicillin is nowadays are using. Because of the resistance, the bacteria is gaining a resistance day by day. To overcome that, we need to make a new antibiotics to overcome the problem of to overcome the antibacterial resistance. We also work on anti-cancer agent. So, if you take lips, unfortunately, one of my colleagues has infected with a skin cancer, and he was having a lumps on his entire body, and he was under chemotherapy. In the case of chemotherapy, they used to, inject the drug in a very high dose. What will happen after injecting? It's not one time. It has to be continuously for 6 months to one month gap period need to be injected a very high dose of the sample. What will happen after injecting the sample? Because the anti-cancer drug what we are taking nowadays are not specific. They are killing the cancer cell at the same time the normal cells are also going to effective. So it's having some side effects. Because of the side effects, even the skin color will going to be changes. And the third area where I will be working is a TLR agonist and vaccine attempt. In fact, during my postdoc, I have worked exclusively on the preparation of the TLR agonist and their development as vaccine adjuvant. Probably most of us have taken the vaccine, right? Which vaccine you have taken? So, the co-vaccine or a COVID-19. The Bharat Biotech, what it has developed, the co-vaccine, is having a adjuvant that is called as immunomodulators. So, my postdoc boss, he has prepared that molecule, and he has collaborated with the Bharat Biotech, and they have introduced that compound into the vaccine, so that the vaccine efficacy has been increased. So we are continuing some part of the work from the TLR, and we are trying to make as the vaccine adjuvant properties we are going to study. And also a small work towards the method development, not a big molecules using a complex catalyst. We are using a very simple catalyst and to make our own molecule which we wanted to test for their biological applications. So based on the core of the molecule, I have divided my talk into 4 different parts. One is a fused pyron derivative. Before going to synthesize some compounds, we always used to take a look at the literature. When I want to know the literature, there are many molecules are reported in the literature which are having a different biological properties. You can see here the protein, which is under phase 2 clinical trial with the advanced solid tumor. And if you see the compound 4, which is the tumor muscular dispersing agent, is nothing but again an anti-cancer agent. Both these compounds are reported as a muscular dispersing agent. Nothing but they will going to block the blood flow by blocking the vessels. As a result, the cell will going to be died. Similarly, the compound 2 and 3, which is called as a tubulin inhibitor, to survive a cell, a microtubules polymerization need to be occurred. If the dynamics of the microtubules will going to be changes, then automatically the cell will going to die. It will not going to be survived. So some of the compounds recently there are many compounds are reported in the literature having a different kind of fuel system, but they the mechanistic studies has not been explored. So our intention is to prepare our own molecule and to test their anti-cancer efficacy. So during the synthesis process, we have gone through some of the very simple methods because there are numerous methods are already available. And when we take a look at these several methods, these papers, whatever I have reported, only a few examples, but they have used many methods are there which consisting of the organic basis. And the green methods are also there where they have used the water. You see here the water has used as a solvent, water has used as a solvent, water has used as a solvent. They comes all under the green chemistry condition. They follow the green chemistry condition. Even the phase transfer catalyst, the alipate 336 is a phase transfer catalyst. And you see here the PEG mediated triethylamine containing diamionic ionic liquid. It also comes under the force of a green chemistry protocols. Then many methods have been used using a metal catalyst and a nanoparticles as well. So when I gone through the many papers, there are nearly 200, 300 papers are there. We wanted to develop our own method. I don't want to use, the complex material which is available or very, expensive to buy. So what we had is from my PhD itself. I was using a catalyst which is a sodium chloride. When I come to this literature, they are having one or other drawback. Of course, they having their own merits in terms of their yield, in terms of their activity, in terms of their selectivity, having, but at the same time, they may lack in one or two drawbacks. So we have tested our reaction using a very simple, available, the catalyst. We have taken a sodium chloride, just take 5 milligram of sodium chloride, and we have conducted a reaction, a three-component reaction. We have taken 1:1 ratio of the alpha naphtha, methanol, and 4-chloromethanol. In methanol, we have just treated this reaction. We have conducted a reaction at room temperature 40, 60, and under reference temperature. We got the compound, approximately 60% of the compound. But we wanted to, enhance the yield of the compound. Then we have tested this compound using different protein solvents and aprotic solvents as well as aprotic solvents. And finally, we got a very good result in water under reflex condition for 4 hours and 93% yield. Later, some of the papers have reported a mixture of solids with water, in combination with water. So I have tried this reaction with a 1:1 ratio of water and methanol and water and methanol conducted at a different temperature, but we could not see the improvement in the yield of the compound. Then I thought that water will be below is sufficient to get a 93%. But later I wanted to change this, or to reduce the reaction time because it is taking 2 to 3 hours of the time. Then we have conducted a reaction under the microwave irradiation as well as we have conducted a reaction under heat condition, but we could not improve the yield of the compound. When we conducted a microwave, the reaction time has been drastically decreased to 15 minutes and yield of the compound was got up to 98%. Later, we have checked the catalytic load. We have used a reaction without a catalyst with 1 milligram, 2 milligram, 3 milligram flow and up to 10 milligram of the compound. And we conclude that 5 milligram is sufficient, which is equivalent to a 12 mole percentage, which we got a maximum amount of the compound. Later, we also tested this compound. We have used in place of a sodium chloride, the sodium salts, and the chloride salts we have used, but still we could not be able to improve the yield. We finally conclude that the optimized condition is 12 mole percentage of a sodium chloride, water, the microwave for 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, that depends upon the substrate area, under 200 watts will be sufficient to get a maximum amount of the yield. Then we tested this reaction with a, we have proposed a mechanistic study. It follows a classical mechanism which undergoes a non-novel condensation, which leads to the formation of a, the non-novel condensation product. Then it undergoes a molecular addition. Then intramolecular cyclization will result the formation of the final molecule. Then we have tested the substrate scope studies. We have changed this aldehyde, a different kind of aromatic and a heteroaromatic aldehyde. Nearly all the compounds we got it greater than 86% of yield. We have used here the alpha naphtha and beta naphtha. Later we have replaced this alpha naphtha with 4-hydroxychlorine, and we have obtained the compound around a 12 compounds with greater than 95%. In addition to the simple characterization techniques, we also confirm these compounds using a crystal studies. Later, we want to utilize whatever the synthetic method we have developed We wanted to utilize this method for preparation of a bioactive compound and wanted to test for the anti-cancer activity. Now, when we gone through the literature report, based on the US FDA approved drug, there are 60% of the US approved drugs are containing the nitrogen in it, more than 60%. The nitrogen, when we introduce a nitrogen or the nitrogen moiety in the heterocyclic compound, it will have a capability to establish a diverse range of interactions. Either to be a hydrogen bonding interaction or a bipolar-static interaction. As a result, it can able to form a wide variety of the bonding with the enzymes. So we thought that we can able to use some kind of heterocyclic moieties and to test their compounds. We have simply synthesized a very simple aldehyde. We wanted to just replace the aldehyde initially. So we have synthesized a 5 different aldehydes. We have taken a secondary amine, a pyro, thiazole, a benzimidazole, and a benzodiazole. Then we have conducted the same reaction. Sorry, we have first of all prepared the corresponding heterocyclic moiety containing the aldehyde using a SNAR reaction. A potassium carbonate DMF 130 degrees Celsius, we got 90 to 25 within 90 to 24 hours, we got more than 70% of the compound. Then we have utilized these aldehydes for the preparation of a diverse pyrrole derivatives. We have used this reaction. Here, we have used a reflex condition instead of microwave because we are having a domestic microwave reactor where we have to test the reaction every 2 minutes and we need to see whether the reaction progress is there or not. So instead of that, I conducted 5 reactions in a reaction void in the void with under a reflex condition because the yield is approximately same even under the conventional heating method also. So in this case, when we use a 4-hydroxychlorine, we got the compound 80 to 90% yield. We have replaced this 4-hydroxychlorine with a 4-hydroxy pyrrole, 2-pyrrole, and we got the compound that is not includes pyrrole derivative greater than 75% yield. Then we replace the 4-hydroxychlorine with another pyrrole, which is a 3-hydroxy-4-pyrrole, and we have taken the corresponding pyrrole system. Then again, we replace the 4-hydroxychlorine with a dimidone and a 1,3-cyclohexane 1,3-dione, and we have taken the corresponding compound, a fused pyrrole derivatives with greater than 80% yield. Then we tested all these compounds. After verifying it, we were having some confusion on which cancer cell line we wanted to test it. Because the cancer studies are very, very expensive. You cannot able to just screen all the 60 cell lines, which will be requiring a huge amount of the media and it costs a lot. So we wanted to select it specifically a type of the cell lines. And according to the World Health Organization, International Agency for Research on Cancer, which is called as WHO, IARC, they have reported in one of the paper in 2020, nearly 19.3 million people in new cancer cases was reported, and out of that 9.9 million people were dead. And they estimated that 28.4 million people will be going to affect by 2040, which is approximately 41% raise in compared to 2020. And when we gone through the flow chart, which is reported in the paper, they have made a comparison of a number of incidents and the mortality rate. When we take a look, it is combination of the females and the male candidate. When we take a look at this, the breast cancer, which is 11.7%, is the number of incidence rates, and followed by a lung cancer, then a colorectal cancer. Then coming to the mortality rate, the lung cancer will be huge, then followed by colorectal cancer, whereas the survival rate in the case of the female breast is higher, around 5%. Still, 6.9% mortality rate is there. So we thought of, we can select, the one more cell line from each of these cancer, like a breast cancer, lung cancer, and the colorectal cancer, and we wanted to test these molecules. Then we have done the MPT assay. I have a cell culture facility in my lab. I can able to test the compounds with the adequate facilities up to 20 to 30 compounds per week. So what we have selected is we have selected a 3 cell lines. We have selected a MCF7, which is a breast cancer cell line, A549, which is a lung cancer cell line, and HCT116 is a colon cancer cell. And interestingly, you see this These three compounds were shown a good activity with the maximum activity of compound 6E having a fused pyrrole containing the overall moiety with 12.46 micromolar. Well, in the case of a lung cancer, the compound which is 14B having a the cyclohexanone ring has exhibited its inhibition concentration, maximum of maximal inhibition concentration is 0.23 micromolar. In the case of CQ116, the activity is a little lesser. The IC50 value was found to be 7.5. Then we thought of, okay, our compound are showing some good activity. But how the cancer cell is dying, it is very important, because simply you say that my compounds are having the anti-cancer activity, nobody will going to believe you. So you wanted to make the people to believe, you wanted to really show what is happening in the cell. So what we have done is that this is a cell morphological assay. We have checked the morphology, whether the cell will be retained as such when we added our compound, when we test or when we treated the cells with our compound. So this is the control where we have used only the DMSO, and later we have treated these cells with the compound 6E12A and 14B in the case of MCF7, which are the active compound. In the case of A549, we have selected based on their activity 12A, 14B, and 14B. Whereas in the case of HC116, we have selected there are only two most active compounds, then AHC and AHC. Now you see what you can see when you observe these, when you compare these, you see the red line. There is a small particle. What it indicates? It indicates that a micronuclei formation, or the nucleus will going to be dividing. The nucleic acid breakage will be happening by treating of this compound. In the case of 14B, it hasn't shown any the particles inside. It could be because of its low the efficacy, because its IC50 value was found to be 32. That could be the reason. Then we thought of conducting one more experiment. We have done the colony formation experiment. And when we done the colony formation experiment, this compound what we have treated is their IC50 value. We have taken the cell, we have added the compound. The compound concentration is equal to its IC50 value. In this case, I have taken two different concentrations to see whether really, as the concentration increases, whether the cell will going to really die or the number of cells will going to be die more, higher. Then we have tested this compound. And you see IC50 value, get IC50 value, get IC90 value. This indicates that we have used a blue stain which can give you a blue. The cell is there because of the fluid inside the cell will show a blue color. Okay. As the number of the blue spots will going to be decreasing, that means the cell will going to be not surviving. The cell, the surface will be breaking. That also can be confirmed from this experiment. Later, we perform cell cycle analysis. When the cell cycle, that nothing but it is a continuous process where the cell will be generating from its parent cell. Then until it goes to a cell division, replication of a cell, there are certain the stages. That is, the entire process is called as a cell cycle analysis. So it has a different phases, G0, G1, S and G2, M phases. Generally G0, G1 can be called as a G phase, G1 phase, S phase, G2 phase. G1 phase is nothing but, or G0 phase is nothing but resting phase. The cell will just generate from its parent, the cell, and it will statically see. G1 phase is nothing but it slowly grows. That is the first phase of the growth of a cell. S phase is nothing but inside the cell, the DNA will going to be generated. Synthesis will going to be happen. Whereas in the case of the G2 phase, further secondary, the enhancement of the growth will going to be happen. And in the case of M phase is nothing but the cell will going to replicate. Because once the cancer is there, cancer is nothing but the abnormal growth of the cell. The cell will going to be divided very rapidly. So M phase is nothing but the replication of the cell phase. We wanted to test this, whether if I use my compound, whether is there any blockage of these cell signal, whether is there any blockage of these, the cell cycle. If there is a blockage, then ultimately the cell will not going to survive. The cell will going to or apoptosis can occur and the cell will going to die. So that's what we wanted to test it. For example, if you take a look at this figure, from this we cannot be able to understand clearly. From this we can see compound we have tested at two different time intervals, 24 hours treatment and 48 hours treatment. When we see this molecule, if this is the control line and this is the 14B, you see that the enhancement is nothing but it is blocking that phase, yes, G1 phase. What does it mean? If the G1 phase itself is blocking means the cell will not going to grow. That is the first phase of the growth. Let's say if you take a look at this molecule, compound 14B, when you compare with the control, compound 14B has shown a high signal indicating that DNA synthesis is stopped. It is applicable on the synthesis phase. The DNA synthesis will going to be stopped. Once the DNA there is no synthesis, what will happen? The cell will going to die. So like that, this compound was identified to have a remarkable block in a different the cycle in a different phases. Then we confirm that these compounds are having a very good anti-cancer property, and we also confirm that whether our compound in the synthesis phase DNA will be, DNA synthesis will be happening. Whether really this DNA is our compound is breaking the DNA, because once there is a double DNA will be existing in the double stranded DNA. If the double stranded DNA will be converted into single stranded DNA, or DNA damage can occur, and if it is cannot be repaired, repair the DNA. If it is a single stranded, we are going to make it, double stranded DNA. If the immune system cannot able to recover, then we can able to die. The cell will going to die. We wanted to test our compound whether it is really breaking the DNA or not. Then we have conducted a reaction from this figure, this is the post-economic experiment, and from this figure you can see we have used a dye, a biomarker, a common H2AX biomarker, will give a color if there is a single stranded here. It won't show a double stranded. Okay, now you can see here, this is a one dye which will be able to give a double stranded DNA. This is a single stranded DNA. When compared with a control, when we treat the compound, it has a double stranded DNA, at the same time it has a single stranded DNA. But here in the control, you cannot see that. So it confirms that our compound are showing effect, are breaking the DNA specifically. Then we were very happy about the results. But however, we thought that the activity is very less. It is the maximum active compound against the lung cancer is 0.2 micromolar. We wanted to enhance the activity, and we filed this patent up to that part. And later, we have modified to enhance the activity. We wanted to, enhance their activity. So we just kept this 4 molecule from the potent MCF7. We have taken that 4 molecule and we changed this substitution. We have broken this, removed this aromatic ring, and we have introduced different alkyl and aryl system. In this case, we have introduced a different alkyl and aryl system. In this case, also we have introduced a different alkyl and aryl system. So we have made the molecules 24 compounds, and we were very happy that the sum of the compounds activity has been increased till 10-fold activity. Increment in 10-fold activity is a wonderful job, and we believe that these compounds will be having a similar kind of mechanistic pathway. So we could not go further mechanistic pathway, but still we are under the investigation of this. So from this, I wanted to conclude that this part that we have developed an efficient method for the synthesis of new derivative. Then we have synthesized the 24 new molecules, and we have tested their compounds for the 3 different cancer cell lines, and we found that a very good activity, especially the compounds 16, 14B and 80, we are having 12.46 and 0.23 and 7.58 micromolar activity. There is MCF7, 8.49 and ZCP116. And we have taken the active compounds and we further studied the mechanistic studies, and we found that the compounds are having a remarkable, the inhibition in the cancer cell cycle, and these compounds are also having they are reducing the DNA double strand breaks, and later we have designed some more molecules, and the activity has been enhanced. So this is the first part of the mechanism. Then the second part we have worked is on mono and di-substituted vegetable. And again, our intention is again the same thing. we wanted to do the compounds, we wanted to prepare a new molecule and test their anti-cancer activity. Now, when we gone through the literature, of course, benzimidazole is a nitrogen-based heterocyclic compound, and it has a two type of nitrogen, which is a pyridine type of nitrogen as well as a pyrrole type of nitrogen. Therefore, it can able to act as a hydrogen bond donor as well as hydrogen bond acceptor, and it usually a bioisoster, a nucleic acid, adenine, and guanine. When we get into the literature, there are many drugs are available in the literature already. And you see one of the important, one of the the first benzimidazole-based drug was approved by the FDA is the diabendazole, which is an anti-helmintic drug. There are several modifications for it. In addition to this anti-helmintic activity, they are also having anti-cancer activity, they are also having antifungal activity, antibacterial, anti-HIV, and so on. Then we wanted to make our own method for the synthesis of a new benzimidazole. Again, we have gone through the literature. We found that one of the best methods. There are two best methods are available to synthesize the compound. One is a reaction between the orthochlorine treatment with the acid. But the problem is you have to conduct this reaction in a acidic condition. The harsh reaction conditions are required. And the second method is the reaction between the orthochlorine with aldehyde. There are many methods are there. There are many catalysts they have used it. They got a greater than 90% in the yield. But the problem is here when they use these methods, especially the treatment of the aldehyde with a orthochlorine, there always be, in the case of a two substituted benzimidazole, there is always be a dimer formation. A 1,2 disubstituted benzimidazole formation. The ratio selectivity was not up to the mark. And in addition to that, there are other methods are also important in the literature, which consisting of a the reductive amination and so forth. Similarly, we have gone through the method, we have gone through the literature report on the synthesis of 1,2 disubstituted benzimidazole. Again, here also the prominent method is the synthesis of the reaction of the orthochlorine with two equivalent of body, and even the presence of different catalysts. Again, even here also, when they wanted to make the 1,2 disubstituted benzimidazole, there is always a minor impurity, which is called as a monosubstituted compound. And at the end, they need to purify using a color chromatography, which is a tedious process and a time-consuming process. And there are other methods are also there to prepare a disubstituted starting material we can synthesize. Let's say take a look at this molecule. First, you need to synthesize the two substituted benzimidazole, then you need to do the amplification. Otherwise, in this case, the two iodobenzimidazole need to be conducted a switch coupling reaction. Like this, all the starting material need to be synthesized. So our intention is we wanted to make a very simple reaction. Again, we use the same catalyst, the sodium chloride. Instead of a 5 milligram, we have used a 2 milligram. We have conducted a reaction in the presence of a 1:1 ratio of the orthochlorine with the 4,4-benzaldehyde, and we have taken the methanol as a solvent. 2 milligram of the sodium chloride we have taken, and we conducted a reaction at room temperature. What we see is that just like they expected from the literature report, we got a mixture of two compounds, mono compound as well as the dimer. Mono compound has 30% and the dimer is 10%. We have isolated the beginning individual compounds and we confirm using the proton NMR. The proton NMR will give a peak and HT corresponding to around 30 ppm, and in this case you got the CH2 peak. There is a 2 proton around 5 ppm, and you confirm this compound. But our intention is not like to make the two compounds and separate, which require the bar purification. We wanted to shift the ratio selectivity either towards a monomer or towards a dimer formation. Then we have this reaction at other temperatures, 60 degrees, 40 degrees, 60 degrees plus, it's still having a mixture of the mono as well as dimer. And we went on screening the different solvents, like a polar protein solvents, like we have used a polar protein solvent, like a ethyl acetate, THF, 1,4-dioxane, and acetylene. When we use a polar protein solvent, what we have observed is that the ratio selectivity has shifted from dimer to monomer. You see in this case, S1 we have got a temperature no reaction. This is 10, 0, 20.5, 50.5. The dimer formation has been reduced. As the polarity increases, the dimer formation has been reduced. Then we thought, why can't we use a DMF? Then we have used a DMF at room temperature. there was a very minute amount of the product formation. So at 40 degrees, you see that at the reference temperature, we got 90% of the monomer and 0% of the dimer. That means the 100% only one isomer has been obtained, only the one product has been obtained. We have completely neglected. It is because of the solvent effect. Definitely there will be a solvent effect. Again, we wanted to increase the yield of the compound. We have tested the reaction under microwave. We have tested the reaction under ultrasonication, but we failed to get the compound. We failed to, improve the yield of the compound. And we also tested whether if I can able to increase the amount of the aldehyde, does it go to a dimer formation? We have tested a 1 equivalent of orthophenyldiene, 2 equivalent of 4,4-benzaldehyde, with a 10 equivalent of 4,4-benzaldehyde also. Still, the reduced selectivity has been maintained 90-0-90-0. So it is definitely a monomer formation, a 100% monomer formation. Now, from this, we know that anhydrous element will be a best solvent, prepare a monosubstituted methyl, and later we wanted to test. We have tested this reaction in the polar coating solvent as well, but we could not be able to see under the condition. But whenever we use a acetic acid with 1:2 ratio, 1 equivalent of a orthophenyldiene and the 2 equivalent of a 4-fluorobenzaldehyde, we could able to see only the dimer formation. In this case, you see acetic acid, glacial acetic acid 040, 060, 085. So now the reduced selectivity has completely moved towards the dimer formation. And we also tested this reaction at a different temperature, but the temperature variation greater than 50 degrees is not going to be affecting the reaction. And we also done the reactions with the different fluoride salts, different chloride salts, and changing the catalyst load. We still confirm that the 2 mg of the sodium chloride is sufficient to enhance the reaction. Now, we try to establish the reaction mechanism. In the presence of a sodium chloride, the electrophilicy of the carbonyl carbon is going to be enhanced. On treatment with a orthophenyldiene, first it will be generating a monoamine. Now, once the monoamine has been obtained, whether the molecule will move towards a monomer formation or towards a dimer formation. What we have observed is that in the presence of a DMR, it gives a monoamine and undergo intramolecular cyclization, and we obtain this compound. And we are also doing the optimization condition. We also tested the reaction under nitrogen atmosphere. We could not see the monomer formation. That means definitely a oxygen is required to make that compound. So area oxidation leads to the formation of this monosubstituted compound. But at the same time, when we use a nitrogen instead of a oxygen, we see a very small amount of the dimer formation. This could be due to the treatment of another equivalent of the aldehyde followed by the 1 kg. But when we use a acetic acid, which predominantly forms a dimer formation, then undergo a 1 kg shift results in the formation of the 1,2 disubstituted compound. This was confirmed by trapping the intermediate in its reduced form. So we have done the reaction 1:1 ratio as well as 1:2 ratio, and then we have done the reduction reaction sodium borohydride. Then we are able to see, like in this case, when we use KDNF as a solvent, we are able to see this compound very nicely, and we have isolated it and confirmed with the NMR spectroscopy. And from here, you could see the diimine formation, and the reduced form of diimine was also confirmed. And from this, we concluded that the sodium chloride, a 4.76 more percentage, anhydrous condition, will be following the pathway. When we use the acetic acid, it will be following the path B, resulting in the formation of the molecules, the mono and the disubstituted compound. When we have studied the substrate core studies, we have prepared 44 compounds greater than the 65-70% yield of the compound. We have used different kind of aromatic systems, even the bulky systems, aliphatic systems, heteroaromatic compounds. Even we have used a fluoro-substituted orthophenyldiene, and we obtained the amount of the yield. We observed a very low amount of the yield, or a medium amount of the yield. In this case, a conjugated system having a 60% yield, and the aliphatic system Dairy fatty system having a 75% EFP. This is because when there is a conjugation, the electrophilicy of the carbonyl carbon will be lesser. As a result, the rate of the reaction or the product yield has been reduced. Similarly, we have tested the reaction for the dimer formation using our optimized condition. We synthesized 37 compounds and we got a good amount of them. But when we have gone through, we have observed a very two interesting results. You see here, when we have used a N-diethylamine, N-diethyl benzaldehyde and N-diethyl benzaldehyde, we could able to get only a monomer formation even in the presence of acetic acid. Then we thought of what is happening. We found that it is because of in the presence of acetic acid, it is forming a quaternary ammonium salt. Once it is forming a quaternary ammonium salt, what will happen? It acts as an electron triangle. Once it is acting as an electron triangle, the electrophilicity of the carbonyl aldehyde has greatly increased. Once it is increasing, the intramolecular cyclization happening through the mechanistic study very rapidly results in the formation of monoamine, not a diamine formation. Similarly, we have observed the same result in the case of a R2nitro and the para-nitrobenzaldehyde, which consisting of the 1B diamine substrate. And mandatorily, we wanted to synthesize this compound, N-diethyl and N-diethyl substituted compound. So, from the optimized condition, we know that ethanol, even though we are in a mixture of compounds, but still we want that compound. So we have conducted the reaction. It's not our intention, but in this case we failed the reaction. We failed to get the 100% regioisomer in the case of the N-diethyl or N-diethyl compound. However, in the presence of ethanol, we got 70%. This was isolated and transformed and characterized by the spectroscopic stats. Then we wanted to make this. We wanted to utilize this reaction. Can we able to prepare from a young substituted orthofluorine diamine? We have prepared this young substituted orthofluorine diamine having a different substitution like a benzyl, phenyl, and the butyl substituted compound through a SNA reaction from a orthofluoronitrobenzene. Then we have treated this reaction using a different aldehyde under the optimized condition. Then we have treated these compounds with a very good yield, more than 60%. Then we thought of utilizing this method. Our intention is not to develop the methodology. Okay, our intention is to make them two molecules. Now, whatever the aldehyde we have synthesized in the first part, we have utilized here. We have used a different kind of heterocyclic molecule containing aldehyde, and we have tested this reaction. And we got a dimer formation, in this case. In this case, we have prepared the mono-substituted compound. There is 60% yield between compounds we have synthesized. All the compounds are the new compound except this compound. This compound, because of introducing a very bulky group here, having some effect on the cyclization. We could not able to get the cyclized compound. And in the case of dimer, we have utilized the same method and we obtained the level compounds. Out of level compound, as I mentioned, the compounds which are having a N-diethyl type of substitution are involving in quaternary ammonium salt formation. So we could not able to get these compounds through our optimized condition. So we mandatorily use the ethanol to get this compound and we could be able to isolate. And similarly, some of the compound here we also got using the ethanol. In this case, we got a monomer. This also was connected with the ethanol and obtained the dimer. Like this, we have made a different kind of compounds having a similar substitution. Whatever I have told you, having a similar substitution. Now I wanted to make a dissimilar substituted compound, a benzyl, because if you take a look at the drug molecule, they are having two different substitutions at a N1 position and a C2 position. Now I wanted to make it instead of a two-step reaction, a single-step reaction, without isolating this reaction, this intermediate. I have conducted initially a 1:1 ratio of orthofluorine with benzaldehyde and got the two substituted benzaldehyde. I have treated with like in this case benzyl bromide. We have conducted how adding the base, but we were not able to get the compound. So we have used some base here, which is required for the inactivation. We have used a different base, so base will not show any effect on the reaction. So we able to get the compound with the potassium carbonate. Like this, we have made the alkyl substituted derivatives, benzyl substituted derivatives, and a phenyl bromide substituted derivative, which are commercially which are available in my lab. Later, we have also synthesized the benzyl substituted derivative having a heterocyclic ring in it. So total we have synthesized 47 compounds, which are a new molecule. Then we have tested these compounds, their anti-cancer effectiveness. Now we have selected these compounds. At the time when we are performing this experiment, we are having the two cell lines, A549 cell line and the MCF cell line. The IC50 value was got in the range of 0.574 to 45.4, and again is the A549 in the case of MCF7, it is 1.397 to 45.058. And these are the potent compounds which we have obtained from this scheme. So we were somehow got a good compound, active compound, which is 0.635 in the case of A549, 0.574 in the case of A549. In this case, the most active compound is the substituted similar substituted compound with 1.397. But still, we wanted to further modify these molecules to enhance its activity. So from this, we can be able to conclude that there is a selective synthesis of two substituted and one substituted derivative has been achieved using sodium chloride gas. The method is very economical and applicable to a wide variety of substrates. And we have synthesized a heterocyclic containing molecules. Total 49 compounds were screened for the A549 and the H67, sorry, not the HCT cell line, and we got a good compound with their EC50 values. Time for which I can able to continue. It's already 4:11. So one more. Can you go up to 4 more minutes? Okay. So this part is the first two parts was based on the anti-cancer. Now it is like a little different. What I have worked in the last 2 years on the toll-like receptor agonistic action. So before that, I need to know the immune system. I don't want to explain each of these, but one point I wanted to tell you that we are making the vaccine. Vaccines are the artificial active acquired immunity where antibodies develop in response to a vaccination. In the case of vaccination, we need to, of course, there are different type of vaccines available. Government has developed a vaccine which is having a TLR-based adjuvant. Therefore, the efficacy has been enhanced, and it has been recognized in the long before. You see, the physiology of medicine is Bruce Butler in the 2011, he has received Nobel Prize because of his work on innate immune system. And of course, today only, right? The news has came 3 days back. The Catherine and the Jew, they have received a Nobel Prize on mRNA vaccine for developing on COVID-19. So mRNA, which is a messenger, the vaccine, which is a great, that achievement. But whatever the classical way of preparing the vaccine, to enhance the vaccine efficacy, one need to add a adjuvant. And at present, we are having only a aluminium salts, aluminium phosphate or the aluminium hydroxide. But these salts, secretion from the once you take it may not go out from the body, and it shows a harmful effect in the future. Therefore, one need to make a molecule which can excrete out, but which can able to enhance the immunity. So, and all these compounds will be, through a toll-like receptor agonist. If you can able to make a molecule which can able to bind to a toll-like receptor ultimately will lead to the induction of the production of the cytokines, which are the primary targets. So toll-like receptor simply I wanted to tell you it has on the cellular domain, It has a two parts. One is the pathogen recognition part and the signal transduction domain, which is also called as the PIR domain. Once our compound is going to bind on the external domain, the internal signal will going to be passed and it reaches the nucleus, and the immunity will going to be enhanced in terms of a cytokine chemotypes. So these are also called as the pathogen recognition molecules or pathogen associated molecular pattern. They can recognize a very related component derived from the bacteria or the yeast or the parasite. But those compounds are lipopolysaccharide, which are very, very big molecules, can be able to synthesize in the lab, which require at least 20 to 30 steps. So it is very difficult. And of course, there are since the complete synthetic part is the complete synthetic pathway, which was mentioned in the previous slide. We don't want to go in detail about this synthetic pathway. Specifically, when we go through the synthetic pathway, the PLR2 will be highly useful. It can have a capability to bind with a variety of the proteins associated with microbes. And when we take a look at the literature, there are a very big molecule which you require to synthesize in 30 steps. Later, there are several scientists who have published papers the molecule of this molecule, but still, if you wanted to synthesize, at least 2 to 3 reproduction strategies need to be implemented. At least 5 to 6 steps are required to make the compound. Among them, the heterocyclic compound derived are only 3 so far. One is a tetrazole-based molecule, second one is a pyrrole-based molecule, and fourth one is the tricyclic fusion, the carboxamide, the phenolic carboxamide. Then we have taken this compound, which is already there in the literature, and we wanted to synthesize, we wanted to enhance the efficacy. If you are having the compound which is a less potency, it cannot able to produce the cytokine chemotherapy. So we wanted to make a lot of this molecule. And based on the literature report, we started synthesizing this compound and we synthesized around 57 compounds. And all the compounds we have tested for their PLR agonistic activity. You see this, the compound 2, all these compounds have been exhibited a very good activity in a micromolar range. You see this from this graph. But does this compound is going to induce the cytokine and chemokine? That also we have confirmed using the human assay followed by the THP1 cells which are having a different type of cytokines and chemokines. Then this was filed a patent. But however, the compound, you can see that the one bond which is a zigzag bond. What does it mean? It is not a single isomer. So we wanted to separate the racemic mixture into a few forms like a R and S isomer. Racemic mixture is nothing but a 50-50% of R and S isomer. So both the isomers may not be active. Out of that, only one isomer may be active, or the another isomer may show a very harmful effect to the body. So definitely need a very pure form of the molecule. Then we have synthesized starting from this molecule. We have used this chiral reagent which was synthesized using a phosphine S4, and we used our starting material, that is a DIPA base, basic home preparation for materials. We got this two compound. Initially, it is having the enantiomer, a mixture of enantiomer. When you have a mixture of enantiomer, treat with a chiral reagent, what is going to happen? A diastereomers is going to generate. Diastereomers, since their physical and chemical properties will be different, you can able to separate them very nicely. So we have separated these two diastereomers, then we followed the reproduction strategy for both the cases, and we obtained the active compound. Again, we have tested. Then we found that the R non-integrated compound does not show activity; it is completely zero. Only the S, the isomer has been shown. However, we thought that this moiety having a less efficacy, the production of the cytokine and chemokine are very, very less. So we wanted to enhance its activity. So what we have done is that we have the coated compound. We just draw this, the carbon-carbon bond. Once you draw this carbon-carbon bond, you will be getting a phenol derivative, a simple phenol derivative, right? But when we broke and we gone through the literature survey, there are similar kind of molecules which are already reported in the literature. You see this compound, ropenex, lactylmode, ascilimode, lactylmode. So they are already identified as immune stimulant. They are having among them the lactylmode and lactylmode are approved for the drugs for the autoimmune diseases, and ascilimode is the clinical trial for the treatment of solid tumors. That means these compounds have a capability not only to enhance our the fluctuated immune system, also act as an anti-cancer. Then we have gone through the synthesis. We have synthesized the compound using the following method, which is reported in the Journal of Chemistry 2004. But we had the difficulties in synthesizing this, following this, using this method. We could not able to isolate this compound because it is converting rapidly starting by heating. And on the silica, it was very difficult. We got a bunch of the spot that you see. And even we have conducted the reaction without isolating it, but still we got very less more. That's only less percentage, 1%. We cannot able to use. For doing the DNA agonistic activity, we require at least 2 milligrams of the sample. So we could not able to, and the starting material is this is very expensive. So we have changed the synthetic strategy, and we have prepared the corresponding molecule starting from the isotine, which is the commercially available, the 5-isotine. We have treated with a metachloroformate acid based on the NH system, converted into a corresponding cellular anhydride. Then we have treated with the triphenylene and 5-carboxylate, the diphenylate, and followed the amylation reaction. So when we wanted to have the N substituted derivative, we have done the N-alkylation reaction here. Then we have continued the similar kind of reaction, and we got 28 compounds. When we synthesize this 28 compound, our intention is to prepare the DNA to test their activity. This is the hard after directly I have taken it. But unfortunately, we could not see any kind of activity. The activity was performed at 3 concentrations, 0.1. In this figure, you can see 0.1 micromolar, 1 micromolar, and 10 micromolar. And this is the reference peak. Our compound, all these are the name of the student LMT. The name to Mariam Kama, she has synthesized this compound. So usually the code which we use, these are the student names. So since the compound activity is not there, I could not able to correct any kind of things. So I just dumped the data from the radar. But we could not see any kind of activity. Then we surprised to see that we have gone through the literature. Then one of the paper was reported. These kind of molecules are suppressing the NF-kappa B pathway, where we wanted to test NF-kappa B. If there is an induction in the NF-kappa B, using the PLR that can be identified. But using the same experiment, we cannot able to identify if it is suppressed. So antagonist activity need to be performed. So we believe that this compound may have a antagonist activity. However, in our head we have the cells, so we wanted to test their anti-cancer activity. And surprisingly, all the compounds show very good anti-cancer property. You see this compound 5Z having an activity very good, 0.799 and 0.169. Again, is the HCP116 and MCF7. And similarly, so and this compound, which is actually 2 times substituted, between 3 times substituted compound, having the activity in 3 cell lines. That is very good. A single compound having the activity in 3 different cell lines. That means this compound can be useful to prepare a the broad spectrum anti-cancer agent. It can be a single dose, single drug can be useful to treat a variety of cancers. And we also tested these compounds whether does it show, because the ropenex of the drug is stopped in the clinical trial because of its high toxicity, a cardiovascular toxicity. So we tested these compounds on the non-cancerous breast cancer cell line, but luckily the compound is not having any toxicity. It was not influencing on the normal cells. So it is working only on the cancerous cells, not on the non-cancerous cells. So we are very happy about it. However, we performed some of the experiments related to the mechanistic studies, which will not going to show this kind of experiment, even the DNA damage studies and research center analysis, and we finally come up with a very good report and cancer papers. I think up to this part is okay. Otherwise, it is going to take 20 more minutes. The one more part is there. It was a very interesting part. If you require, I can leave the PPT for you, and you can correct. So, I'm happy to answer any questions from your side. And the synthesis is not too stuff. It is a very simple synthetic strategy what I have followed, but my focus is majorly on the biological system. Okay, as Ramachari sir has mentioned in the morning time, that one what we are doing is that it has to be useful somehow. Okay, the usefulness of my molecule in terms of biology. So some in the future, company may interest to do this molecule and take it to the next step. And almost all the molecules here, 4 patents are under process. We have got the patent number. Still, we have not published the what yet. Publication is under process. But patent filing is already over. The patent number we have got it. We thought that the patent will be there, and I already got the 2 patents. The US patent is the 4th one, but from here I filed 4 patents. So it seems I may be able to get the patents. Thank you very much. So once again, I yes, before waiting up, I wanted to acknowledge which we cannot able to attend actually. Yeah. So this is I have a very small group of 7 PhD students. 6 PhD students are present here, and especially what is done by Maria, Kavita, and Iku. They are working in this project. The entire what they have done is these 3 students. I could not able to work. Remaining students are working on a antibacterial studies. I could not able to present it here. And I would like to thank my prof leader, Dr. Yupini, who is assisting me in doing the biological studies, and Dr. Anup and recently from the Poland, they are doing the secondary screening, the anti-cancer activity secondary screening. Primary screening, LPDSA, able to do in my lab, or secondary screening, presently not done. So I'm depending on them. And I thank to the Dr. Deepak, is doing the that we are based molecules, and Rakesh and Dr. Anjit, they are collaborating from the based on antibacterial studies. I would like to thank the funding agencies, the major funding agencies, the directly caliber and the SEP. Without them, I could not able to establish my lab, and especially thanks to the SEP that they have given a funding to establish my university lab and able to do this studies. And I had to ICE and they have given a completely grant to utilize that amount of purchasing some of the sense. And finally, I would like to say you can visit the NITC campus. NITC campus is located in the southern part of the Calicut city, and we have a very good facility, and also visit the park, which has the Calicut is especially famous for the beaches. You can enjoy the beach, and there are some waterfalls also there. Visit NIT Calicut and also thank you very much. Once again, I thank the attention of the members for giving me an opportunity to speak. Thank you very much. Sir, you can
Actually, I would like to congratulate you for the pipeline.
5 years. Thank you very much.
So 5 patents and really it seems good work. So I'm very grateful for that. Not even don't have any idea what the synthesis are. I would like to ask some queries regarding the activity. First thing is, why the chemistry people is actually anti-cancer?
It's a very good question, actually. See, I have started a DLR based activity. Okay, I'll tell you a story behind it. I have started a DLR based activity because it is my postdoc work, so I thought that I can able to establish it. Do you know, nobody is working in the DLR in India. Only 4-5 people are working
in DLR 4. It's a recent advancement.
See, one faculty member from ICT Hyderabad, Sampath Kumar, is working on DLR. But his lab, people going to wind up his lab. I have contacted him, and somehow I found Dr. Deepak. He is a vaccine developer from the ACS side, so he is helping me in doing the DLR. Initially, I wanted to make my own lab, And I have contacted only the supplier are in Biogen because of the biosafety protocols. Nobody will go into give the cells to you directly. Not able to carry at home. So I contacted them. You know, a 1.5 millions of the cells will be costing me 1.5 lakhs. Do you think that the institute will going to agree? Uh, then we have changed our design strategy in such a way that can be able to do in the India itself. Then we started synthesizing the compound accordingly. And
Actually, what is my this PLR is related to bacterial cells.
Yes, yes, yes.
And how you correlate this PLR to anticancer?
There are several papers. Even in J medical paper, recently, I think 22, is one paper quoted. Most of the PLR agonists has been identified as anti-cancer agents. Okay. So that is one striking point where we thought that why not we test the design molecule for PLR and anti-cancer.
PLR are more likely to be anti-bacterial.
Yes, that's true because they can able to identify the, they can able to recognize the bacterial compounds. Okay.
Yes,
We are
spams,
not.
business spams.
Yes, yes.
Moreover, in showing that KMSO and the other competition, KMSO, use some control of KMSO spams. So, BMS were kept at what percentage of the system?
Uh, it is like we initially prepare one NC parameter. That is a stock solution. 1 milligram of the sample dissolved in 1 ml of the DMS. From there, we used to make the different concentrations.
Because you are talking about activity, does activity convert to DMS2 or your compounds?
No, it is
There
not
should
from
be
the
some
DMS.
clarity because 5% of DMSO or above the 5% of DMSO will be toxic.
That's true. But when you see the control, in the control also we have used the DMS.
Yes, sir, but in what you need to mention what is percent of DMSO, and even there is a line down standards.
Standard.
You are showing 0.3 IC50 in given concentration. So standard value, you show the standard value.
Standard.
It should be matched or that you are changing the
Relation.
relation.
That's so I'm sure you have done this some kind of counting sequence with a anti-cancer agent. Uh, we have not performed it with a standard. It's just an idea of comparison. The problem is that the mechanism, the anti-cancer drug mechanism will be different, and our compound mechanism will be different. So there will be a lag. Cannot able to compare some extent.
The last time when the isolation is anybody who are doing the work, others are activity, not only according to their structure. So what are the functional groups are when they are drawing, uniting, based on structural compound, activity has to be decided.
It's not you wanted to tell me that the structure and activity relationship need to be explained. Right? Fortunately, because if you see all the given paper, it will be the structure activity relationship will be the thank you very much.
Here it is 1.5 decade research issues we have done, and I hope the synthesis process, what type of the synthetic procedures are available in heterocyclic compound preparation, and what type of the biological activities are present, and what are the pathways are there. We have seen. Thank you, Jonathan. Please accept our felicitation by our department faculty members. Thank you once again.